Fragaboom. Hi, this is Arthur Adams. You're watching the Couchdoodle Show, and I will not say Fragaboom.
Yo, what is up, Couchdoodlers? It's your man Fragaboom, and I am so excited to tell you about my friend Larry Hama. Larry was born June 7th, 1949, and is most famous for his writing and creation on G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. That's right, all of those great comic books and cartoons came out of his brain. In fact, he wrote the backs of the file cards on the backs of those action figures. Larry's also an accomplished actor, being seen on such shows as MASH and Saturday Night Live. But enough of that. You guys, let's just jump into the interview. This is my friend, Larry Hama.
We are here with my pal, Larry Hama. Let's jump right into the questions.
Okay.
Do you have a routine?
No.
No.
Well, it changes all the time.
Yeah? That's awesome. Your routine is to not have a routine.
Right.
I love it. What do you do when you don't know what to do?
Go to sleep.
Right. If you could trade lives with any person, living or dead, for one day, who would it be?
I wouldn't.
That's great. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Floss more.
I love it.
That's the truth.
What would you say you're most self-conscious about?
That I'm most self-conscious about?
Yes.
Probably everything.
Yeah?
Yeah. Very insecure.
What is the most childish or childlike thing that you still do?
That I still do?
Yes.
Probably everything. I still think of myself as 9 years old or something. You know?
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to draw every day.
Yeah, it's not. You know that feeling you got when you were a kid and you went into a room and it was all grown-ups?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that almost all the time.
Yeah.
Except when I'm at Comic Cons.
Like that.
You know, I used to go to PTA meetings, you know, and I felt like everybody else was an adult.
Right.
And they were all older. They were all younger than me.
Yeah.
You know?
They had to go and grow up.
Yeah. You know, because they're interested in all this stuff that I'm not interested in.
Right.
You know, and they know all about stocks and bonds, and they can discuss things like equity and
Yeah.
you know, and they like play golf or tennis or
Right.
you know, do all these things that I have
No interest.
absolutely no interest in.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you rather live in the country, suburb, or city?
City, absolutely.
What about the city makes you like to live there?
Access to culture, access to food, access to life,
Yeah.
music, theater,
Epicenter.
yeah, everything that I like. And I live in Tribeca. I can walk to anything I want to get to.
Right.
I'm a 10-minute walk away from Chinatown. I
Yeah.
want to eat.
Yeah.
I'm 10 minutes away from Soho.
That's awesome.
I can. I live a block and a half away from a multiplex.
Right. That sounds good.
I live across the street from a Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And a giant Barnes and Noble and a giant Bed Bath and Beyond.
So you don't own a car? That's awesome.
I got rid of all my cars like 8 years ago, and haven't gone back. But I may have to buy a car next month.
If you could learn a skill instantly, what would you want it to be?
Learn a skill instantly? I'd like to be able to draw, actually.
I'm watching a master at work as you say, I would like to learn how to do this. That's great.
Oh no, I mean, I'm faking it.
Yeah. It's insane.
No, I don't really know how to draw, so I just fake it, you know.
What element best
I'm
represents
very good
you?
at faking it.
Well, you're fooling a lot of people, let me tell you. What element out of earth, wind, fire, water do you believe represents you best?
Fire.
Fire. Okay. Describe yourself with one word.
Insecure.
Aw. What initially sparked your interest in doing what you do?
Uncle Scrooge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about Uncle Scrooge made you want to do it?
I just love the stories.
Yeah?
You know, and the sense of adventure, the sense of camaraderie. You know, I've always said that my version of G.I. Joe is basically Junior Woodchucks with guns. So,
That's excellent.
yeah. A lot of people don't get that.
I think it's awesome. I think that's great. Some of my stories are basically ported over versions of things that I wish I would have done. So I
Oh,
get
yeah.
that.
No, you have to do what you love to do. Or else there's no sense in doing it.
If money,
You know, if I wasn't drawing and writing the stuff that I like to do, I might as well be driving a truck.
right?
You know,
Well, that leads to my next question, which is you're answering. If money wasn't a factor, what would you want to be doing?
playing rock and roll,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What instrument do you like?
guitar.
Guitar. Awesome. You play?
Yeah.
That's great.
I played in a rock and roll band for over 20 years.
Who's your favorite band?
My favorite band?
Yeah, like who? Like when you put it on, it's like the cat's meow to you. It's like the best.
Jimmy.
Hendrix.
Yeah.
All right. What?
I mean, I like
yeah.
Hendrix, Clapton, Jeff Beck,
Oh yeah.
Magic Sam.
I don't know Magic Sam.
Oh, Magic Sam is the best.
All right, I'm gonna have to check that out. I know the other guys you mentioned, but not Magic
Big
Sam.
influence on Clapton, too.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard a Clapton story once when someone asked him, "What's it like to be the greatest guitarist of all time?" And his answer was, "I don't know. You'll have to ask Prince." That was Clapton's answer, which is insane because Clapton is Clapton.
No, but Prince, he did stuff that was unfathomable.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't figure out how he did it.
Yeah.
I mean, this when I think about a lot of artists, you know, no matter how popular or slick they are, if I can figure out how they did it,
Yeah.
I'm not all that impressed.
Right.
But there's like half a dozen people that you look at their stuff and you go, how the hell did they do that?
I'm
You
I'm
know?
that way with Mignola. I mean, it looks simple, but the more you look at it, you go, he's saying so much with so little, and I don't know how to distill my work down into that.
No, he's good, but I don't think he's that mysterious. To me.
Right? He's not mysterious,
No,
no,
no.
but he's
Like Michael Golden, I can't
Oh,
fathom
yeah.
how he does it. You know,
yeah,
and,
he's
and Ed Davis was probably the best.
Ed Davis.
Yeah.
I don't know Ed Davis.
And Ed Davis was the only artist that I've ever heard Neil Adams say could draw better than him.
What did Ed Davis do?
Not an awful lot, but
Really?
he was really good.
Let's do our research and find out who this Ed Davis guy
He was
is.
the best natural draftsman I've ever seen.
Ed Davis. All right.
And a total sponge. He could absorb a technique instantly.
Wow.
You know, he was working at continuity, you know, and blowing away Neil. You know, he was working on an advertising job, and he penciled this this whole comp, and it was beautiful.
Wow.
And said, "Oh, now I got to ink it." So he turns to Neil, and he says, "Hey Neil, can I borrow one of your brushes?" So Neil hands him a Winsor Newton Series 7, number 3.
3, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah. And Ed takes it and he dips it in the ink, and it's like 1 inch away from the paper when Neil like whips around and goes, "Wait a minute." Have you ever inked anything with a brush before in your life? And Ed says, "No." And Neil says, "Don't you want to like take a piece of scrap paper and
Figure it out. Yeah.
try to do some practice lines?" And Ed says, "What for?"
The practice is here as I go.
What for?
Yeah.
And Neil is like, "Okay."
Somebody made Neil. Oh wow.
Just go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
And he just did it.
Yeah.
He could pick up a brand new tool
Wow.
and just
Ed
figure it
Davis.
out
I gotta find this.
while he was doing it.
I gotta find him.
He
Is
could
he-
draw photographically.
Is he still around?
No,
Oh man.
he could draw photographically from memory.
Yeah.
About 25 years ago, he decided he was going to go to Central America and be a mercenary. And that was the last we saw of him.
Wow. Okay.
Think I'm making this up?
No, that's just the things you learned. What are some bad recommendations you've heard in this profession?
Bad recommendation?
Yeah, stuff that you've heard people give as recommendations that are in fact bad.
Oh. Endless.
Yeah?
Yeah. A lot of what they teach in art schools is garbage too.
Yeah.
But and I see people just do it, like they buy those mannequins and they buy those books full of poses and
Yeah.
stuff, and there's now like programs that you can
Yeah.
worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
you know?
He's too stiff.
Yeah, and it doesn't exercise the drawing muscle.
Right.
The only way to do it is to draw people and draw anatomy and draw from life to the point where you can, do that stuff out of your head,
Yeah.
and then compose the new scenes in your head.
Yeah.
And this is something Neil taught me a long time ago. He said, you see that scene in your head, and then you, boom, take a hologram of it,
Yeah.
right? Then you step into that hologram, and you walk around the figures, and you look at it from below, and you climb on a ladder, you look at it from above.
Yeah.
Then you start moving the lights around,
Yeah. Some people can't do that.
I know.
Yeah.
They could only think two-dimensionally.
Right.
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 But that's the way that you can really exercise the drawing muscle and come up with stuff that isn't just the same old.
Right.
And most people don't want to do that.
No.
And the other thing is to stop settling, because that's the death of your art.
Yeah.
Well,
the fact that you say you want to learn how to draw and I'm watching you be a master is an expression of that. You haven't settled. You feel like you don't know.
You have to, you got to try to do something different every time, rather than, I do all these sketches and I try to come up with a different pose.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never done this one before,
That one's great.
but, I like the attitude,
We'll show it
And-
to
and-
the folks
and-
at home.
and the gesture.
Good old snake eyes.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
So
How is a failure or apparent failure set you up for later successes?
all failures are great lessons.
Do you have a favorite one?
It's like being a kid and touching a hot stove.
Oh
you
yeah.
know. I'm not going to do that again.
I'm not going to do that. Do you have a favorite failure?
Oh, there are too many to
Yeah.
count. You just learn a lot from them, you know. And the thing about failure is that it's the only way to learn. That if you're afraid to fail, then you just do the safe thing all the time.
Yeah.
And doing the safe thing all the time, no matter what it is, drawing or playing music or whatever, that's like going to the gym and doing one push-up.
Yeah.
Really.
That's great.
But if you try to do the really difficult thing, you know, that you see in your head, oh, wow, that's really... And then your practical mind is going, I don't think I can pull that off.
Right.
But here's what I already know how to do.
Right.
So
Right.
that's, every time you do that, that's like doing one push-up. But every time you push the envelope,
That's where you can grow.
you're doing like 100 push-ups. First time you do it, it's going to suck.
Right.
Maybe the first 20 times
Yeah.
you do it, it'll suck. But the magic happens on the day that it stops sucking.
Yes.
You know?
That
And
is so great.
that's the best feeling in the world,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like when you're drawing and it just starts to flow.
Yeah.
You call it white light.
You call it white light?
Yeah.
That's great.
When you got the white light shining, you better milk it,
Yeah.
because when it goes away, it goes away.
Have you? I've actually experienced it enough times to ask myself, what are my circumstances? What am I listening to?
Right.
What have I eaten today? What's my mindset?
You never figure it out.
Oh, I'm getting close. I'm getting close.
It's pretty arbitrary, but when it hits, you got to exploit it.
You don't want to go to sleep.
You don't go to sleep. You don't eat.
You don't want to do anything but stay.
Right.
Yeah. What?
And that's the best feeling in the world. You know?
That's true.
And when you're playing music, you know, it's called being in the groove. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to leave.
The white light. That's crazy. I call it the gel. Like you get into this submerged sort of
And
thing.
people that don't do art
Yeah.
don't get it.
No, because it sounds like hippie mumbo jumbo. You know?
Well, I think sports people get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get into the
Zone.
zone.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Beast
Yeah.
mode. The zone.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's hard to convey to people who don't do that sort of thing.
True. And there's a lot of people that don't. So when they come
Well, they're
and
the
see
majority.
us, well, they see what we do is like some magic trick or
Well, that's
wizardry.
the thing, is that all of this stuff, you know, the people that we call artists today used to be called musicians.
Right.
You know, the guys that did all those paintings on the cave walls, you know, in the Stone Age,
Yeah.
you know, their job description wasn't artist,
Right.
you know, they were magicians.
Yeah. Seers.
Yeah, but all that stuff had mystical connotations,
Right.
you know, and it was people looked at it and they couldn't figure out how it was done.
Right. Right. Exactly. And
So-
you still like that. You say
Yeah.
you search out for that. If you can't
Yeah.
figure it out,
That's right.
that's great.
It's magic.
Yeah.
That's all magic is.
What would you think is the best investment you've ever made in your life? Whether it be time, practice, something that you've bought with money or invested money. Is there something that you found it to be the best investment you've ever made?
Well, just probably spending the time to try to make the stuff better.
Yeah.
You know, if you spend time to try to make it go faster, that's a waste.
Yeah. What about both, better and faster?
Never
No?
happens. Yeah.
Oh,
You got to put the time in.
yeah, that's true. That's true. There's still ways of efficiencies, I think, though.
Yeah, but lots of times that leads you to a bad place.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's going to be worth exploring. What book have you given the most as a gift?
There's so many. It's hard to say.
Is there a favorite?
It's constantly changing. The last book that I gave away to more than 3 people was Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead.
It's a great title. Your plow over the bones of the dead.
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
Can't really remember her name. She's a Polish
Yeah.
novelist. And
I mean that title, people will find it. That's a very specific title.
yeah, it's a very strange book. But
Yeah. Sounds
it's
like it.
sort of a mystery,
Yeah.
you know, and but the writing is incredible.
Yeah.
There's a Russian writer, I can't remember her name either, who wrote Letters from Chernobyl, where she just interviewed people that survived Chernobyl,
Yeah.
and it's withering.
Wow.
She wrote another book where she interviewed all the surviving women who fought in the Soviet army in World War II.
Wow.
And that is like,
Wow.
and it's all in the words of the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fascinating stuff. I'd rather read history.
Yeah, I'm a nonfiction guy myself. Have there been any books or a specific book that has influenced your life?
Well, it's hard to pin it down to one. You know, it's just,
Let's say 3.
that's even hard.
That's great.
I read a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who
And
would
lots
you?
of times I reread the same books over.
Yeah.
I've reread the Patrick O'Brian Napoleonic Sea novels like 3 times.
Well, there you go. What? Who would you say are the top 5 influences in your life?
Art-wise,
It could be who you are as a person, your art.
well, Wally Wood, Neil Adams, my kendo teacher, 2 martial arts teachers, like my Kudo sensei, the Zen archery master,
Yeah.
and Bernie Krigstein.
Who's that? I'm sorry, man. I don't know. I don't
You
know.
don't know who Bernie Krigstein?
No, no.
He was probably the greatest comic book artist that ever lived.
Wow. So 2. That's 2. Ed Davis and Bernie.
Bernie Krigstein did a story for EC Comics called The Master Race.
Okay. Wait, I know it. The guy falls off the train.
Yeah.
And Miller really enjoyed that sort of slowed down storytelling.
Well, he invented modern comic book storytelling.
I know who he is, but didn't know I knew.
Nobody
Yeah.
did that sort of cinematic boom, 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 boom
Yeah.
thing before. Before Bernie Krigstein, all comics were 6-panel grids.
Yeah.
There were 6-panel grids because they were lettered before they were given to the penciler. So the borders were inked and the balloons, the balloons were already there and the lettering was already there. You just filled in under the balloons.
Right. And was
Bernie
it lettering
Krigstein-
mechanical?
Yeah, it was Leroy lettering.
Okay.
Bernie Krigstein would get these pages, and he would cut them apart with a razor blade because they wouldn't pay to re-letter.
Right.
Sometimes he'd have to cut out letter by letter and repaste them up with rubber cement. And
Holy
he'd make a
smokes.
6-panel page into a 16-panel page.
Yeah,
You know, but
that's
that
incredible.
changed visual storytelling forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. I'm blown away.
Huh?
What would you like your legacy to be?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, you've got that. What was that little success back in the mid '80s? That GI Joe thing.
Yeah, well,
Do you enjoy being associated with it?
it's been very good to me, but it was never what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, you made a lot of kids happy, myself
Oh.
included.
I'm a duck man, basically. So I really just wanted to do funny animals, and I never got the chance.
It's never too late.
Well, hopefully.
I like what you did with the pinky, throwing it up a little higher. That's nice.
Yeah, well, that's become a stale trick for me.
I like it.
I got to learn to.
You call it stale, but I like it because it gives it just a little extra flair.
Well, you got to always figure out a way to avoid doing the usual thing.
Yeah. I like that,
Just
man.
for- just
your
for your
mindset
own-
is so great.
Your own sanity.
Yeah. You have the best mindset. I enjoy the fact that there's no resting on the laurels, and there's a saying by Tony Robbins called CANI, and it's a acronym for constant and never-ending improvement.
Right.
Each day, either do the same as you did before, but never less. But don't, like you're saying, don't just get in there and do one push-up and leave.
Right.
Larry, thank you so much for your interview. I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Right.
That was it. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for other interviews here on the Couchdoodles Show. I've been your host, Fragaboom.